There are days when the struggle feels invisible, when the battles around you leave no mark on the world but weigh heavily on your soul. Perhaps you feel worn, as if unseen hands are tugging at the corners of your life, drawing tension into your relationships, your health, and your peace. You may have prayed, whispered, and cried out, yet the silence seems unbroken. Know this: you are not alone, and your struggle has not gone unnoticed. There are forces at work that seek to block your blessing, to trap your heart in discouragement, to whisper lies of defeat. And in these moments, the Spirit calls us to a deeper refuge, a place where our cries reach the ears of the Almighty. Psalm 35 stands as a testament to the power of lifting our hearts to God in the midst of hidden opposition. David, overwhelmed and surrounded by those who plotted against him, did not rely on his own strength or schemes. Instead, he called upon the Lord with bold faith, entrusting every unfairness, every hidden trap, every shadow of malice into God's hands. This psalm is not merely words on a page. It is a living prayer, a plea for divine justice, protection, and restoration. It reminds us that even when the battle is unseen, our defender is ever present, and our cause is held firmly before his throne. Take a moment to breathe and open your heart. Imagine standing before God's presence, lifting the burdens that have weighed silently upon you. Let this be a sanctuary of honesty. Admit the fear, the weariness, the moments when hope seemed distant. Yet, even here, there is a whisper of promise. He who sees all, who knows every hidden trap, who hears every silent cry, is ready to act on your behalf. As we prepare to read Psalm 35 together, allow the words to rise from your lips not as mere recitation but as a declaration of trust in the God who fights for those who cannot fight for themselves. Let this prayer awaken spiritual awareness, break invisible chains, and restore the alignment that only His Spirit can provide. Psalm 35. Plead my cause, O Lord, with them that strive with me, fight against them that fight against me. Take hold of shield and buckler, and stand up for mine help. Draw out also the spear, and stop the way against them that persecute me. Say unto my soul, I am thy salvation. Let them be confounded and put to shame that seek after my soul. Let them be turned back and brought to confusion that devise my hurt. Let them be as chaff before the wind, and let the angel of the Lord chase them. Let their way be dark and slippery, and let the angel of the Lord persecute them. For without cause have they hid for me their net in a pit, which without cause they have digged for my soul. Let destruction come upon him at unawares, and let his net that he hath hid catch himself. Into that very destruction let him fall. And my soul shall be joyful in the Lord, it shall rejoice in his salvation. All my bones shall say, Lord, who is like unto thee, which deliverest the poor from him that is too strong for him? Yea, the poor and the needy from him that spoileth him? False witnesses did rise up. They laid to my charge things that I knew not. They rewarded me evil for good to the spoiling of my soul. But as for me, when they were sick, my clothing was sackcloth. I humbled my soul with fasting, and my prayer returned into mine own bosom. I behaved myself as though he had been my friend or brother. I bowed down heavily, as one that mourneth for his mother. But in mine adversity they rejoiced, and gathered themselves together. Yea, the abjects gathered themselves together against me, and I knew it not. They did tear me, and ceased not. With hypocritical mockers and feasts, they gnashed upon me with their teeth. Lord, how long wilt thou look on? Rescue my soul from their destructions, my darling from the lions. I will give thee thanks in the great congregation. I will praise thee among much people. Let not them that are mine enemies wrongfully rejoice over me. neither let them wink with the eye that hate me without a cause. For they speak not peace, but they devise deceitful matters against them that are quiet in the land. Yea, they opened their mouth wide against me, and said, Aha, aha, our eye hath seen it. This thou hast seen, O Lord, keep not silence. O Lord, be not far from me. Stir up thyself, and awake to my judgment, even unto my cause, my God and my Lord. Judge me, O Lord my God, according to thy righteousness, and let them not rejoice over me. Let them not say in their hearts, Ah, so would we have it. Let them not say, We have swallowed him up. Let them be ashamed and brought to confusion together that rejoice at mine hurt. Let them be clothed with shame and dishonor that magnify themselves against me. Let them shout for joy, and be glad, that favor my righteous cause, yea, let them say continually, Let the Lord be magnified, which hath pleasure in the prosperity of his servant. And my tongue shall speak of thy righteousness, and of thy praise all the day long. Plead my cause, O Lord, with them that strive with me, fight against them that fight against me. Let them be as chaff before the wind, and let the angel of the Lord chase them. These words rise from the heart of David, a man surrounded by those who sought to harm him, yet he did not engage in retaliation. Instead, he brought his case before the Almighty, trusting in a justice far greater than his own. There is a profound lesson here. The battles that weigh upon your life are often not to be fought with human strength or anger. True victory begins when we surrender our struggles to the God who sees, who knows, and who acts on behalf of his children. In the unseen courtroom of the Spirit, God becomes our advocate. Every slander whispered in shadow, every plan of envy or oppression, every subtle attempt to weaken your soul finds no footing when placed before him. Like David, we are invited to entrust our cause to God, acknowledging that our strength is limited, yet his power is infinite. The hidden traps of the enemy, the nets and pits that lie unseen in our daily lives, are scattered when his Spirit moves. Words spoken against you, generations of inherited burdens, or moments of emotional weariness are all met by the angel of the Lord, who pursues darkness and restores light where it had been eclipsed. As you dwell on these verses, sense the quiet power of divine intervention. Imagine the Spirit sweeping through your life like wind chasing away chaff, removing what no human hand could touch. Picture the angels surrounding your home, your family, and your heart, dismantling every scheme that sought to ensnare you. Here, in the stillness, the believer learns that true freedom does not come from confrontation but from alignment with God's justice. Each hidden struggle you face can be laid before him, and in that surrender, strength rises, fear diminishes, and peace finds its home in your soul. Let your heart absorb this truth. God fights for those who cannot fight for themselves. He pleads the cause of the innocent, defends the weary, and silences the voice of the enemy. As you meditate on these words, let them become more than reading. They become a shield, a refuge, and a declaration that your life is held in the hands of the one who will never fail. Let them shout for joy, and be glad, that favor my righteous cause, yea, let them say continually, Let the Lord be magnified, which hath pleasure in the prosperity of his servant. In this passage, David shifts from pleading to praise, revealing the secret that the power of worship can complete what warfare began. There is a moment in every believer's journey when the heart must move from lament to exaltation, from fear to faith, from waiting to celebration. The supernatural begins to stir when we lift our voices in trust, even before the victory is fully revealed. Praise becomes a shield, turning sorrow into strength and silencing every accusation that sought to overwhelm the soul. Consider the awakening of divine favor described here. Prosperity is not merely material. It is the restoration of wholeness, the healing of spirit, and the peace that follows turmoil. When the soul is aligned with God's pleasure, protection flows, fear diminishes, and hope blossoms anew. The same mouth that once wept can now sing, releasing joy into every hidden corner of your life. This is the hidden reversal of God's kingdom. What was intended for harm becomes the stage for glory. As the words echo, imagine beginning each day with this declaration. Speak aloud the assurance that God delights in the well-being of His servant, that your cause is righteous and favored, and that every effort of the enemy to bind or discourage you is rendered powerless. Let your heart rise like dawn breaking after a long night, filled with confidence that the supernatural presence of God moves in ways beyond human comprehension. In this awakening, your spirit is strengthened, your faith renewed, and your life positioned to receive the fullness of what God has already promised. Feel the transformation within. Worship is not merely response. It is a powerful act that aligns heaven with your reality. The joy that rises from genuine praise becomes a force that shatters fear, dissolves hidden chains, and invites miracles to unfold in the quiet spaces of your heart. In this sacred rhythm of battle and worship, the believer discovers that God's intervention is not distant but immediate, flowing through obedience, trust, and the simple act of lifting His name on high. O Lord, who sees every hidden battle and hears every silent cry, rise and plead our cause. You know the struggles we face in the quiet moments, the attacks that are unseen by human eyes yet felt deeply in our hearts. Chase away every shadow that has risen against our peace, scattering confusion and fear with the light of your presence. Let every curse, spoken or inherited, lose its grip in your presence, for no power can withstand the authority of your name. Let those who plot in secret stumble upon their own snares, for you are our defender and our light. Protect our families, our homes, and every step we take along the paths you have set before us. Release angels of protection to surround us, guarding both our spirit and our bodies, and covering every area where hidden opposition seeks to gain ground. Let the supernatural presence of your Spirit awaken every silent place in us that has grown tired, every weary corner that longs for renewal, and every anxious thought that seeks comfort. Restore courage where fear has ruled, peace where confusion has lived, and hope where despair has taken root. Let the joy of your deliverance rise within our hearts, overshadowing all doubt and weariness. May your justice reign in our lives, your mercy surround us, and your glory dwell in every word we speak, every decision we make, and every quiet moment of our souls. In the name of Jesus Christ, our deliverer and advocate. Amen. As you sit with these words, allow them to settle deep within your spirit. Listen to them as a declaration of divine protection, a personal refuge, and a renewal of hope. Commit to returning to this prayer, letting its truth anchor your heart for 7 consecutive nights, and notice the way God's presence begins to shift every hidden struggle in your life. Let this be more than prayer. Let it be an ongoing embrace of God's defense and supernatural intervention. There is a stillness that follows the storm, a quiet assurance that God's hand has moved on behalf of those who trust Him. In the moments after prayer, when the heart begins to breathe freely and the spirit senses relief, we are reminded that divine protection is not a single event but a continual covering, sustained by faith and daily communion with the Lord. The chains that once bound, the hidden snares that sought to ensnare, and the shadows that pressed upon the soul all lose their grip as God's justice and mercy work steadily in the background of your life. Walk each day in gratitude rather than fear, carrying the memory of His intervention as a shield against discouragement. Let the words of Psalm 35 rise in your heart whenever invisible battles appear, allowing them to strengthen you and restore perspective. Deliverance is more than escape. It is the restoration of divine order, the realignment of your spirit with God's perfect will, and the peace that comes from knowing the Almighty pleads your cause. Rest in the knowledge that every trap the enemy sets is seen and countered by a loving and powerful God. As you meditate on His Word and remain in His presence, feel the freedom settle into your life like a quiet dawn, bringing courage to your heart, clarity to your mind, and hope to every weary place within you. Trust that when God fights for you, no hidden opposition can stand, and every silent struggle is met with His unwavering intervention. Take these moments to breathe, to reflect, and to embrace the divine peace that now surrounds you, confident that your life is held securely in the hands of the One who will never fail.